Hello there, Cobra here, making my first proper video really, and it's about the IS7, my third tier 10 that I've just bought and very excited about. Unfortunately, there have been some issues with it. I've found it's not really quite as quick as I thought it would be in every respect. It is quite fast top speed, but in-game it takes you a while to get to that top speed, and even with V-Stab and GLD, I found that the gun can be quite temperamental, hence the use of APCR, not just for the better penetration, because at 150 as the standard rounds penetration, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not quite acceptable, especially when you're going to be on corners against other tier 10 heavy tanks, or even tier 9 and 8 will bounce you quite regularly with AP. With APCR, you've got that better shell velocity, which means you can be more accurate at long ranges and even short ranges. Actually, it does make a difference. And then you've got that over 300 meters of penetration, which is very nice. I am going to quickly look at the stats of the vehicle, but I'm not really into that myself. I think you could over-analyze a lot of things, so am I going, talking and recording at the same time and doing all this, gonna try and get used to it. But basically, there we go, vehicle details. You can read this on here, but it doesn't give you a full idea of how the vehicle will perform in game. You're not going to go at 60 kilometers an hour everywhere. Same as your traverse speed will be quite severely affected by softer, medium terrain. Hard terrain, it's pretty decent, but when you get onto the sort of more softer ground, the IS7 really does feel it. So, Lakeville, Valley, not a good idea. Don't know why people do it. It's just another reason not to go there, but that's a rant for another day. The hull armour at the front is very good. Essentially, if you try and cover this area, if you're covering the bottom, then this bounces very well. The weakness is literally only here, and that can only be penned if you're angled slightly downwards, like this. It would only be able to be penned by heat from tier 9 and 10 tanks, really. It's a very difficult weak spot. As for the turret, zero weak spots, really. You can HE the thing, cause some module damage, but that's about it. Even from the sides, you're going to be bouncing a lot of shots, even directly from the sides, when people think, that they've got a clean shot and they maybe don't spend enough time on aiming. You can bounce a lot from the side. You've got a real good amount of spaced armour here, and actually, this is where the hull goes. I believe I've seen people explain this before. It's very interesting. This is one of these heavies where the side armour is essentially a black hole, just swallows bullets, because they're going to go straight into the spaced armour, and then they've got to go through that side skirt, through all this, whatever, but this is where the armour is, along the side. So there is still a lot of armour there, and it is angled like that. Same with the tracks as well. They're pretty thick. It's nothing special like on the T92 with your 2 layers of tracks, which is basically invincible a lot of the time. You can be penned, but again, through the drive wheels, here, not so much. What you do want to be careful with is getting tracked, because your traverse speed isn't great. Being left on your own is not an important thing. You really want to be supported by teammates and supporting them, especially with the low DPM. And in fact, when people start penning you, they just don't seem to stop. In the IS7, you make a mistake, you pay for it. It's not a forgiving tank. Configuration, interested in all that. Radio's not anything special. I do like the gun, even though it's a bit temperamental, and for crew training purposes it has 2 loaders. So what I've done is I actually saved the crew from my KV2, I've had that tank for ages, got a bit bored of it now, to be honest, even though it is quite funny to play sometimes. But I have used that crew because that's the only crew in this line that has 2 loaders, and I've had that tank for a long time, so I was able to train up the crew. So I've got a nice 3-skill crew here, training brothers in arms. I think that's a good thing to have. I also, back in the days of me being a bit of a noob, you know, my second skill even, on both of them was safe stowage, which I believe is stackable, actually. So, that's nice. You can correct me on that as well, but I do think that the 2 safe stowage are stackable, along with a ret ammo rack as well, which adds to that further. I don't have that. I think it's a bit of a waste. You don't want to be getting hit like this, you know. If it was an easy weak spot, which it can be, you just got to play well so that they don't hit it, essentially, because having a dead ammo rack in a tank with already shocking DPM is crippling. Anyway, I'm going to start battle before I end up talking far too long and boring you all to death. So, really, this is all recorded live, so what I want to do is give a more general impression of how it's going to perform when an average player plays it. It's like, I'm no pro player, you know, so I'm going to give an overall view of how you can expect the tank to perform in certain situations. I'm just loading in now. You look on the enemy team, you see them 3 artillery, and you cry. Yeah, Leopard PT in the chat seems to dislike artillery very much, but I'm not entirely against them on that. Anyway, 2 T92s and an Object 261. I do not want to be spotted in the open. That's as simple as that. So I'm going to get, if you can see the cursor well, I apologise for a bit of a bad visual quality. That should be improving soon with my new capture card, but that's a story for another day. I want to go around here. If you push along out here, you can be caught by artillery. This is a massive kill zone for not just artillery, but tank destroyers as well. And this area here, if you pushed through here, and there's tanks here, there you often find you get shot through here. This is a big no-no. It's not safe early on, but I want to get here to be safe from the artillery. Without as much artillery, I'd definitely like to go up here. Use the gun depression in the IS7. Don't really have a... absolutely no, he was tracked. But other than him being tracked, I have no idea why he stopped. Like, he wouldn't have stopped anyway, and I don't know why he didn't repair kit faster. The reason I've gone a bit forward there, just to keep my cover in. But I mean, the PTA is going to die there. I didn't expect that. Really, not a fantastic. It's not a great mood. It can be a good power play, but it's much safer to do it in platoons. Going across here, I find. No. Yeah, I'm going to keep on going around here. You can see he got hit by artillery, clearly. That's why you don't stay in the open. If the U100s aren't here, we know one of them isn't, but if the other one isn't here, I'm going to go back around and support the middle, because it does look like it could end badly over there. Oh, I don't quite know how far to go out here. Okay, so we have found the other... Okay. I'm actually going to go back. I don't want to push down there. I think it's a bit of a silly move, especially since you make yourself completely useless. If you get out here and the game's still, you know, going strong, it probably means that they're pushing down on here and controlling this vital area of the map. So I want to get back down and try and contest it. Again, extremely worried about artillery, so I like to go sit around with this VKR. What I'm doing is I'm playing passively, mainly because of the 3 artillery. There aren't many tank destroyers, but you don't really YOLO, and that's there. There is a difference between playing passively and camping. I mean, that IS7's all the way over there, and he's just about as much use as I am, except he's lost 1,000 hit points already. I mean, this is safe from most artillery. It's not safe from a GW100, and it also does depend on their location. I'm going to use the new physics though to maximise my energy power. The only problem with this is, one, my gun elevation, and two, if I angle my armour like that, it has an absolute terrible thickness. I am going to move. I feel like I need to be getting into the fight a bit more, so I'm just going to cross now. And again, you know, things are safer at different parts of the game, and that was very lucky. The bounce wasn't massively lucky because he had a while to fire the shot and so forth, but, well, because he didn't have a while even to fire the shot. But, bounce, it is to be expected. You don't think it, but when you're firing at the rear of any tank with this sort of curved angling, it's not as easy to shoot as you think. And when people are trying to rush shots like that, they tend to miss the exact point